Welcome back to the Morning Blend. We are proud to team up with Heiser Automotive to recognize some outstanding veterans who continue to give back. Our next guest served in the 82nd Airborne, went on to work for American Airlines, and now is dedicated to helping wounded vets.
Yeah, and we are thrilled to welcome Dan Boring to the Yellow Couch. He is a member of the Southern Wisconsin All Airborne chapter that raises funds for wounded vets. Great to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Nice to
Absolutely.
meet you.
This is, I think your story is just phenomenal what you do. You're all volunteer based. You go to Walter Reed 10 to 12 times a year to bring the funds that people donate directly to the wounded veterans to do what?
Well, we are an all-volunteer organization. We have about 56 members. 100% of what we raise actually goes to the wounded warriors at Walter Reed in Bethesda, Maryland. Some checks actually do go to Fort Sam Houston, Texas. We are not have any affiliation with the Wounded Warrior Project. Like I said, 100% of what we raise, if someone gives $1 or $100, it all goes to the wounded warriors.
You even take a picture oftentimes with the check with the vet.
Right. One of the things we do is, of course, we get a quick bio, what happened, when, where, stuff like that. And one of the requirements is, you know, we get a picture of them holding the check, so people know the money actually did go to these heroes, men and women.
That's really nice that you do that. And we have some pictures that we're sharing with people there. It's wonderful that you go and give it directly to them. What's it like for you to visit?
Well, actually, I'm humbled every time I walk through the doors at Walter Reed because these men and women who are serving our country are all very, very young, or the big majority of them are, and they've suffered horrific, you know, injuries, and but yet they're all still very, very positive. Most of them are mad because they're not actually back with their unit.
I always find that, you know, one of the things that is so resilient about so many vets is their desire to go back, to continue serving, to be a part of their group. You know, you keep this wonderful photo album. Every single veteran that you meet, you take a picture with. You do a little bit about their story.
We try to, there's cases where we can't actually get a picture because the guy's, you know, in surgery
Not
or stuff.
appropriate.
But yeah, we do, and then I always ask them if it's all right if we can show their pictures, you know, when we do our Wounded Warrior events. That way people know this is the real deal, this is what's going on, and they're happy to do it.
Talk a little bit about your service in the military. So this was in the late 60s, right, to 1970?
Yeah. Well, I certainly was no hero by no means. You know, at the time I went in, you know, the draft was going, and I wasn't college material, and I knew, you know, my father was...
Is this you?
That's me. My father was a lifer in the Army, and I kind of wanted to follow his footsteps, and for some crazy reason I wanted to jump out of airplanes. So I figured, you know, once I finished basic training AIT, then they always ask for volunteers for jump school, and that's what I did, and I ended up with the 82nd Airborne in Fort Bragg, North Carolina.
Takes a lot of guts to jump out of an airplane.
Well, that's probably why you do it when you're 19 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
Most people don't want to do that, but it's actually not as bad as you think.
Yeah, yeah. Tell us a little bit about Marine Sergeant John Peck, who you met and took skydiving.
Well, Marine Sergeant John Peck is probably one of the most severely wounded guys. There's only 5 surviving quadruple amputees from Afghanistan and Iraq, and I met Sergeant John Peck around 2012 at Walter Reed. And the first time I met him, of course, you don't know what to think. I mean, you hear you're facing a guy who's got no arms and legs. And the first time I met him, I said, Sergeant Peck, when you get better, come make a jump with us. And he's a Marine. He never jumped out of an airplane. He looked at me like I was crazy. And he said, you know, I'd like to do that. So long story short, we had Master Rigger come up who had a special harness for him. And we had the American Legion Riders, District 1, a great group of veterans also that raised money for us. And they escorted Sergeant Peck and his family from Antioch, Illinois to Skydive Midwest in Sylvania. And we had a twin-engine King Air waiting for him. Nobody else jumped that day, just out of respect for Sergeant Peck. And he actually got to do a tandem skydive, which you can see right there, from 14,500 feet.
Is that higher or lower? What's an average of
well, like the military jumps, like when I jumped out of military aircraft, it's relatively low. It's only 1,250 feet.
Oh my gosh.
Or 14,500 feet. You get to see a little more, and a little more time doing it. So
how was it for him? I mean, looking at that video, I mean, it looks exhilarating, but it looks really scary too.
I think he had a good time. It was a day he could get away from the hospital and just have some fun and forget about all of his, you know, his wounds and stuff. And so I'm trying to get him back to come and do it again.
That is wonderful. I want to make sure we mention your daughter because she's the one who nominated you.
Yes.
I think it's so wonderful. She talks about, and that's a picture of your granddaughter, right, who's in active
I have
service?
to give a shout out to my granddaughter, PFC Aliana Conti, who's serving in the Army Reserves in Orlando, Florida, and going to school. So I'm extremely proud of her.
That is wonderful. But she said so many great things about you, the visits that you do to wounded veterans at Walter Reed, the skydiving that you did recently, the photo album. She said you also go to schools and other businesses to talk about how we can support wounded soldiers. I mean, it just goes on and on.
But I mean, you got to understand something too. I can only do this. I'm not doing this all on my own. I can only do it because of a lot of great people helping me. And you know, so I do get a lot of help from other people, you know, doing stuff like this. And our chapter chairman, Nick Polera, who does so much stuff for our organization, and his assistant, Jack Gibbons, they're the ones who allow me to, I'm the lucky one who gets to take the checks and meet these heroes. So I certainly couldn't do it without them and all the help from people who come to our Wounded Warrior events. And so I guess I'm the lucky one who gets to meet these heroes.
And we're lucky to have met you. You're a retired American Airlines, so all your flying are just through your fly benefits. There's no cost for you to be able to go out there 10 to 12
so I need to
times a
thank
year.
American Airlines too. So yeah, I fly I fly standby. So you know, but yeah, I usually leave early in the morning and come back late that night. And,
it's phenomenal.
You go again this Friday, which is incredible.
You've raised over $600,000 and always looking to raise more. And here's how you can do that by going to the website you've provided for us. It's the Southern Wisconsin All Airborne chapter. The website is 82ndSWAAC.com. You can donate there to help with those proceeds. Again, 100% goes to Wounded Warrior veterans.
And a special thank you to our friends at Heiser Automotive, too, for helping put the spotlight on veterans. Heiser is proud to employ many veterans from all branches of the armed forces. We appreciate their partnership with today's TMJ4. And it's such a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you for your service.
It was an honor to meet you, too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate your time and what you